Hello everyone, I hope you're doing well. We have made it to our final video in this practicum series when it comes to talking about blood pressure and how we can control or prevent it. And I wanted to end this video with the title of Talking with Your Medical Provider and Blood Pressure. I just want to thank you all for allowing me to create this health education series for you all, and I hope that by you all listening and watching and also participating in how to control and manage blood pressure, that it has helped you. And I just hope that one day I'll be able to touch many people in the public health field when it comes to making positive and healthy lifestyle choices. When it comes to going to the doctor, and especially when it comes to blood pressure, what should you know about talking to your doctor when it comes to high blood pressure? Well, for starters, when you go to any doctor's appointment, you should probably bring a current list of medications. It's also helpful to bring a past list of medications. So in case the nurse or the doctor needs to update this list, by having the physical copies in your hand, this will help the medical staff to further update your medication history and also make the process faster. When it comes to talking to your doctor, you may be wondering what are some questions to ask while you were there in the room. And when it comes to blood pressure, especially if you're not too familiar with what the numbers are, some examples can include what should my blood pressure be? What is my current blood pressure measurement? Which you would find that out as soon as you go in for a checkup. They'll go ahead and read it for you right away. What conditions or situations will increase my blood pressure? Can you recommend a diet or eating plan to help me reach that weight that I should be at in order to have a healthy blood pressure? Because as mentioned in a previous video, weight and physical activity plays a big role when it comes to blood pressure. If you're at a healthy weight, your blood pressure is going to be in normal range. If you're obese or underweight, those blood pressures can definitely fluctuate. Another question would be what how much exercise should I be doing? What types of activities would you recommend? If you're currently taking blood pressure medication, you could ask some questions about what are the side effects of the medication before you even take it so you know what to expect or what you don't want to run into or don't want to expect. And then it's always important to know if you have any questions regarding blood pressure, what to look out for, any resources in the community. And 9 times out of 10, doctors, they will be able to recommend community resources to help you when it comes to tracking and monitoring your health status. Some lifestyle modifications to improve blood pressure. Here I've listed 4 bullet points about any lifestyle modifications to help with blood pressure readings. And this should look familiar because all along in the program, we've talked about these different topics with weight management, alcohol consumption, physical activity, tobacco use, and secondhand smoke. I hope you all remember from some of the previous videos when it came to tobacco use and secondhand smoke. Remember that I had discussed that secondhand smoke comes from being around someone that's been smoking a tobacco product. It could be like one of those vapes or e-cigarettes or any type of tobacco product. When it comes to physical activity, remember I had said that the American Dietary Guidelines for Americans recommends that it is about 150 minutes a week. That would be about 30 minutes a day for 5 days a week. That would be 150 minutes that you would meet for the requirement for that. And then when it comes to the weight management part, as discussed, and as we all know though, being at a healthy weight will reduce your chances for developing high blood pressure, or as we call it, hypertension, and then any other health issues such as obesity or any cardiovascular issues. Some things that I wanted to talk about with the lifestyle modifications for this. If you happen to notice that your blood pressure, well, as we all know that high blood pressure is known as a silent killer. So most people are walking around in the world and they don't even know that they have high blood pressure issues. But if you're experiencing any of the following symptoms on this list, such as fatigue, any nausea, especially shortness of breath, any lightheadedness, headaches, or any problems with your vision, or you seem to be a little bit confused, this could be a sign that you may have some kind of blood pressure issue going on. It could be hypertension or hypotension. And remember, as I discussed in the first video, that hypotension is low blood pressure. It's important that you do measure your blood pressure on a regular basis. I know that we usually get our blood pressures checked while we're at the doctor's office for a routine checkup or if we're just going in for some kind of concern. However, it's important to know that when you measure your blood pressure on a regular basis, not only are you finding out that top and bottom number, but you're keeping track of, if there's any underlying issue that could be occurring in your body. Now, high and elevated blood pressures, they have no symptoms. So checking blood pressure is the only way to know if it is too high or too low. If you do learn that you have high blood pressure, you should definitely take steps to control your blood pressure to lower the risk for heart disease and or stroke. Now, one thing I want to mention is, I bet you all are wondering at this point, why is it so important for us to know our numbers? So as we all talked, as I discussed with you all in the first video, you remember the two numbers I called were systolic and diastolic? Okay, so systolic is that top number. Systolic is like the blood that is being exerted from your artery walls. So it's active. Think of it as an active number. Diastolic is think of it as the blood pressure at rest. So when we look at this chart here, and I have it color coded for a reason. So as I discussed with you all, we know that a reading of 120 over 80 or less than 120 over 80, that would be considered in the normal range. Now, if you have a reading of, let's say, 127 over 78, let's just say it might be a little elevated at that point. Now, high blood pressure is going to set in if we see it's 136 over 82. That's a little high at that point. That's stage 1 hypertension. And then, for example, stage 2 hypertension would be 140 or higher. So, for example, 142 over 93. That's stage 2 hypertension. Now, a hypertensive crisis, that's on up there. That's way up there. That's a blood pressure that's higher than 180. Now, that would be, let's say, 180 over 120. Now, that is definitely high. At this point, but if you're in a hypertensive crisis, you're probably already in the hospital by now because something is going on. You've probably experienced that lightheadedness, the headaches, any vision problems at this point. And the point of this chart is to help you all to know and just to remember numbers. So in case, like, if you are to monitor your numbers at home, you could look at this and be like, say you are taking your blood pressure today and you look at it and it says, okay, 130 over 80. All right, so you know it's a little high right now, but that's stage 1. So this will help you to be able to learn what you need to do to help lower that blood pressure. This is just a little overview of what we went over today. And I just want you all to keep in mind that, as we discussed, a normal blood pressure level is around 120 or less than 120 over 80 millimeters of mercury. Now, it's important to know that the mmHg, this is millimeters per mercury. This is how blood pressure is measured. High blood pressure usually has no warning signs or symptoms. This is why it's important to get it checked, because if you only go to the doctor either once or twice a year, you'll get it checked. But if you don't go, it's important that you have go to like one of those little monitoring stations in Walmart or any of the the pharmacy stores that have them for the public for free. It's just best to know, if it's high or not, to prevent further complications. It's better to be safe than sorry. And if you're having any concerns, you should always talk with your healthcare team about regularly measuring your blood pressure at home, and also investing in a self-monitoring blood pressure um, system. One thing I want to mention about those blood pressure self-monitoring systems, all along, as you all know, I've been working alongside Dr. Donald here at McDowell County Commission on Aging, and I do believe if you are a participant here at the McDowell County Commission, that the resources available for you to receive a self-monitoring blood pressure machine. And I believe this will be very beneficial for any participants that are having some concerns or questions about, oh, is my blood pressure high? Or, man, maybe I haven't had my blood pressure taken in a while. Maybe I should start checking a little bit more to see if I may have high blood pressure or not. It's just always better to be safe than sorry. And I encourage you all to ask Dr. Donald for any community resources. If I could be of help to give a community resource pamphlet out to you all, I would love to do that. I just thank you very much, and I do hope that from these 6 videos that I made for you all, that you're able to have a better grasp on how to control or manage blood pressure and how to prevent any blood pressure problems, because as I mentioned throughout every single video, it doesn't just start with blood pressure. Sometimes when you have elevated blood pressure issues, these can lead to cardiovascular issues. And the body is one big function. So when one system is down, it creates a domino effect where other systems can definitely spiral down. So I thank you for your time, and I look forward to providing you any resources in the community that you may need. Thank you.